Welcome to your 15-minute hip mobility and flexibility practice. I just want you to know that everything that we add on in stages in this practice is optional. Let's start by stepping onto your mat and taking a nice expansive stretch with the arms overhead. Breathe in and out. Now let's place the hands on the hips and take some standing hip circles, starting with 3 circles moving externally on each leg. Engage the belly here to help with your balance, as well as shift tension from your hips to your belly. Great, let's bring the feet back to hip distance apart and let's draw the arms up overhead, passing the fingers, lacing them together and pressing them away. And then swan diving forward into a forward fold with either straight or bent knee. Let's take a moment here and let the head hang heavy. Option to bend the knees halfway and then straighten them again, feeling the hamstrings open and lengthen gradually here. Now let's bend into our right knee, allowing our hips to tilt. So let's release our left hand up to the ceiling, lengthening through the spine, and now you can allow that reaching arm to take a backstroke just to open up a little further through the torso and shoulders. Breathing here. And let's take it to the other side, bending that left knee, opening up the right side body, reaching the right fingertips to the ceiling. We're going to turn the feet out towards the side and bend the knees again and allow them to fall outside of your hips, easing the hips down towards the floor. Let's take this 3 more times, taking the hips to whatever level you are comfortable with. Heels can stay on or off the floor. Great. Let's find a downward dog position and slowly ease our knees down towards to touch the mat, keeping the toes tucked as you lean back and open up the muscles of your feet. Shifting your weight onto all fours, begin to open and release the low back as you draw clockwise circles with your tailbone. Let's take 3 circles counterclockwise as well. Nice. Go ahead and untuck the toes as you shift all the way back to your child's pose. Heading into some dynamic building lunges, we lift the hips and take a large step around with the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Press the hips forward and then bring the right foot back. Enjoy the hips opening as you take that left foot forward to this kneeling wide lunge. Adding on to this, after we step forward with the right, we float the hands to the hips and sink into that right foot. Retrace these steps and then repeat on the left. Easing into the hip flexors. On this next round, we'll step forward, float the hands to the hips, and then float hands beside the head as we expose the chest to the sky. Step by step, move back through your child's pose and onto the other side. Great, let's return to the knees and turn ourselves sideways on the mat. Release the right foot and step out into a kneeling side lunge. Take 4 or 5 weight shifts here, being mindful of the groin and remembering to breathe. Now let's release the right hand and stretch the other hand up and over to feel a beautiful side body stretch. Expose the heart to the sky if you can. Windmilling the arms back through a standing kneeling position, and then carefully reach the opposite arm back, either onto a block or all the way onto the floor for an exalted side body stretch. Nice. Let's windmill back to the right hand for a moment before we return our right leg to kneeling and exchange it for the left. Let's repeat these shifting side body stretches on the other side. See if in your kneeling lunge you can continue to thrust the hips forwards and opening up any hinge that might be happening in the hips. Slowly pull the right hand back and open up through the left side body. And we'll go ahead and we'll take our hand back to the inside of that left leg. Now let's allow the right foot to join the left in a standing wide squat position. Slowly remove the hands from the mat, pressing the knees back as you go. We're going to turn the left knee internally and allow it to sink to the floor. Then shift the weight forward as you press into the right foot, taking the hands up and over the head and then opening the elbows into a cactus shape. Pulling the elbows behind your body, shining the heart to the sky. Float both hands to either side. Start to reach the right fingertips forward in a Superman position. Circle them up and then reach back and try to slide the fingers to the outside of the left thigh, allowing the chest to rotate with you. Shift through a straight leg position before rotating your feet to face the other direction and find yourself in your kneeling lunge on the left. And let's repeat these upper body positions on the other side. Bending both knees in your lunge, open your right knee to join your left knee in a nice wide squat. Once again, floating the hands down to the floor and then slowly take the right knee to kneeling and then the left, but in a wider kneeling position than before. We're going to gently shift the hips back towards the heels as we feel the groin open further, really supporting the legs in this position by taking a lot of weight into your hands. Step one foot up and then the other and allow the hips to sink into this wide, low squat. Let's breathe here for a moment as the hips continue to sink. We're going to try stepping up and down from this position now without using the hands and with minimal shifting in the torso. Keep pressing those knees back and pinky toe into the floor. Nice. Now from this low squat, slowly start to lift the hips and drop the head. Once your legs are straight, unwind the spine upwards. The head is the last thing to arrive. Let's repeat these spine wave squats twice or 3 more times. Finishing up our last wave, extending through the legs and just rocking the hips side to side a few times. Great, turning ourselves back to lengthwise on the mat, moving through lunge, we make our way to a pinwheel position with the left leg in front. We then rise up onto our knees and press the hips forward. As we sit back down, we take the knees up and over to the opposite side and rise up again. Repeating this a couple more times. Okay, now let's add an optional back bend as we rise up. Holding here for an extra moment. And let's go ahead and switch that onto the other side, exposing the chest. Great work. It's time to move onto our bellies, working to continue opening the front hips. We start by pressing into the floor and rising up with the torso. You shouldn't feel any pinching in the back. Draw your belly button up and in. As you rise up, add a neck rotation to either side at the top. So step 2 is drawing the knee up towards the shoulder before we rise up with the torso. Then we rotate and look back at the bent leg. Step 3 is maybe bending the extended leg and reaching around with the opposite hand to connect. Stay supported through the grounded shoulder. Enjoy the juice of this twist. As we continue here, feel free to explore the space with your head and neck, take some neck mobility, rotations, and circles. Nice, and let's take this last variation on the other side as well. Don't forget to keep inhaling and exhaling deeply in this stretch. So finally, before we stand up, we are going to bring the left knee up, rise up with the torso, and then bring the right knee to join it and hold this intense groin stretch. Feel free to open through the chest, look up towards the ceiling in front of you, and just allow the hips to sink forward. This can be pretty intense, so take your time with it and breathe. All right, my friends, we are standing up to move into our final sequence of this practice, and it involves some good balance challenges, so take your time. Start by floating the left knee towards the chest and pulling it in with both hands. Allow the hip flexor to become soft here. Now slowly take the leg through to a dancer's pose or standing quad stretch. The next steps here are very challenging, so take it or leave it. We're going to slowly bend the supporting leg and lower the torso forward until our fingertips meet the floor. It's similar to sugarcane pose in yoga. Next, you can release the grip on the held foot to bring both hands down and then extend into your standing split. And as a final challenge, you can slowly release one hand and then we open into a sideways standing split shape. This is such a good challenge for your side and back body. Well done, everyone. Let's roll up through standing and attempt this sequence on the other side. Right knee to chest, strong arms, soft hips, soft, distant gaze. Moving through dancer's pose, allowing standing ankle to shimmy and shake as it helps you stabilize. Slowly, easily lowering to that sugarcane variation. Lots and lots of breath support. Both hands down now, standing split, sending heel or toes to sky. Right hand floats to sideways standing split. Bringing both feet down, let's slowly roll back up to standing and then clasp the hands together. As you sit low and round out the back, exhale. All right, everyone, that is it for our practice today. Great work. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I always appreciate your feedback. And we'll see you soon in another video.